I'm so glad we're going back to normal. Oh, hey, you know, whoa, hey, hello. Welcome to week 7, take 2. What are we doing this time, Miss Osterman?
Okay, now we're looking at civics because that's also going to be part of the humanities test. And we have 3 main components.
We've got a test. We've got a test. You guys got to get ready for a test.
That is true.
We've got 3 main components.
Yes, we have
What are they?
budgeting.
Budgeting.
We have ethical investments.
Ethical investments.
Both of those come under finance. And then we have politics and
Politics.
parliament.
How come we have politics? We do money. What's happened?
Government. Well, we've talked about the government this term.
Corona.
And
Yeah, we had to change things.
that is
So
true.
we're going to need to know all about personal finance, budgeting, ethical investment,
Yep.
and politics.
That's right.
Fantastic. Give us a quick rundown.
Okay, so when we were talking about the budgeting, we were looking at financial institutions, you looked at the share market and
Share
all
market.
the different kinds of investments that you could make there. And your own budgeting report talked about personal finance. So how
Yeah.
would you budget? And we gave the students a figure, didn't we? And you could use that figure every month to pay your expenses, to pay
Yep.
your mortgage, to do all those kind of things. So they need to have an understanding on how to do that.
Yeah. So they're going to need to know how to manage their money,
Yeah.
how and where they can invest money,
That's right.
and the buying and selling of pieces of companies on
Yeah.
the share market. All right. Okay.
And then we were talking about investing ethically and unethically, which were businesses that were not doing the right
Yep.
thing and
Yep.
not using their wealth the way God had designed it for them to, and,
Yep.
and that we were supporting them. If we are buying into a company that's unethical, then we're essentially contributing to the problem instead of being a solution.
Yep.
So
there-
what would be a business that you would invest in, Mr.
Ooh, I would want to look for a business that's in line with my personal morals. And so I would look for a business that is doing good. So it's looking after people and it's looking after the environment. I'd probably steer away from companies that are just purely making money for the sake of making money. So I'm thinking social enterprises like Thank You Water, Who Gives a Crap.
Yeah.
I'd be looking at companies like Tesla.
Mhm.
I'd probably be steering away from companies. I might avoid
Tobacco
most
industry,
banks.
probably
Tobacco,
banks can be quite
yeah.
unethical. And just
Big
as a
oil
recap,
companies.
ethical is not just about what the money is invested in, but also how the people are treated. So even if you might like Nike products, if they're using sweatshops and child labor, then they're not an ethical business.
And they're not an ethical business. Yeah.
Yeah, and that brought us to the government and parliament, which
Yep.
we were doing this term.
Oh, here we go.
COVID-friendly.
So how the laws we live by, how do they actually come about? So we looked at particularly focusing on the Victorian Parliament. So we use the Westminster system. It is the same system for making laws for the whole country in Canberra. That's the same system that makes laws for our state of Victoria in Melbourne. So it's a bicameral legislator in the style of the Westminster system, which basically means we copy the way the British do it. It's bicameral, so it's two cameral houses, 2 houses, a lower house and an upper house. Here in Victoria, we have the Legislative Assembly, that's the lower house, and the Legislative Council, that's the upper house. The lower house is styled in green, and the upper house is styled in red, and that's because we copy London. Over in Britain, their lower house is called the House of Commons. It's green to symbolise the common ground, the grass that people used to meet on to solve their problems. And the upper house is called the House of Lords. It's styled in red because it's where the lords and royalty used to sit. So lower house in green, upper house in red. Different names, same system. Now, government. This is the really important bit. Government is formed. Remember, the job of Parliament is to form government. The government actually forms and sits in the lower house. So the House of Commons, or in Victoria, the Legislative Assembly. So the Premier sits in the lower house, and most of his cabinet would sit in the lower house too. That's where laws are generally introduced. That's where they go through their first 3 readings in the lower house. The upper house is a house of review. That means it's their job to check the laws that come to them from the lower house. Laws can be introduced in the upper house, but it's not normal. Yeah.
And one of the tasks that a lot of you did really well on your Parliament report was to review how a bill is actually coming into being.
Yeah,
so
great job.
Bill,
Yep.
And often the suggestions come out of the government, which we
Yep.
talked about. They're very rarely from the public. But once a bill has been created, it has to travel its whole journey through the houses.
Yep.
And the upper house is then the one that has the final say after a
Yep.
number of readings. And it goes then to the governor here in Victoria
Yep.
or in the whole of Australia to the Governor General for
Yep.
the final approval.
And that's the final approval. Now, the job of the governor, at the moment, we have a female here in Victoria, Linda Dessau. She is our governor. So she sits in place of the Queen. Of course, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II is the Queen of Australia. She's also the Queen of 17 different countries. So she can't check all those laws. So there's someone who does it for her. And here in Victoria, it's the governor, Linda Dessau. And bills do not become effective. That means they don't go into force until it gets the royal seal of approval. That's the signature of Linda Dessau, who signs that bill on behalf of Her Majesty. Before she does that, she has a team, a little team of lawyers, and they do the final check. So it's hard to imagine, but sometimes when she gets them, can be mistakes, things that have sort of slipped through. And so her lawyers go through it one more time, make sure it's in line with the Victorian Constitution, make sure there's no mistakes, and they give it the okay, she will give it the seal of approval.
The bigger the decision, the longer it takes for some of these things. And for
Yep.
example, if it's something that affects the entire population, it's a really major choice, like a re-election or something. Now you'll probably find there'll be lots of different decisions after COVID-19. There'll be different drafts of new laws in regards to social distancing or in regards to even education possibly. So all of these things come under this. And then we were also looking at, I think in regards to government, our 3 levels basically. So we have a local level where things are decided, like
Councillor Frankston,
where you register your dog and where you go to read in your library.
picking up trash,
picking
dog
up
parks,
local rates to the
For instance, we tried to buy a pig. Frankston Council has a ban on that, so couldn't buy a pig.
And then we've got our Victorian, our state level, and you found that when you looked at the different restrictions, how they were lifted in different states, Victoria made its own decision. So that is where the Victorian state overrides the federal.
The balance of power sits with the states. So most of the laws you live by will be state laws, laws passed by your state.
And then you have your big federal decisions, for example, on the defence, the Defence Force of Australia, immigration laws, who can come into this country, things like whether boats are turned away, what we do with immigrants, all that kind of
international relations, anything to do with defence,
trade,
citizenship, immigration, anything to do with the whole country, Canberra will look after that.
And I think that probably rounds up our topic if we're doing our sheet.
Just like in history, Ms. Osterman and I put together a revision sheet for your test. So what we would like you to do from now is to, of course, turn off this video. Go and check out this sheet. And this week, your job in humanities is to go through these revision sheets. Make sure that you identify where you are strong, where you need to brush up on. Remember, this isn't in place of the learning. This is consolidation of learning. So this isn't a rush to catch up because I haven't done the work. You need to have done the work. This is to consolidate your understanding and your learning. If you do have questions, write them down, bring them to our Zoom. But if it's a bit urgent, you can shoot us an email. We're here to help you. Once again, we really look forward to helping you be successful. Look forward to partnering with you going forward. Guys, really looking forward to having you back in the classroom.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
And
God
have
bless.
a great week.
See you soon.